Shalom. I just want to share what's on my heart today and a few things that I've been thinking about experiencing life. Now, the first thing about life, real life, if you think about it, is unpredictable. You never know what will happen next. Anything that you have control over, that you can know the future, means that you are controlling that. And that's not really life. That's control. And most of society, most people in living today are basically in a controlled environment that they create for themselves. Now, the problem with a controlled environment is that you not only control the environment for yourself, you control other people within your environment as well. Now, if you think about it, it might sound, but I need to, live together and all that. And it makes sense if we agree on certain things. The things you agree on is based on your upbringing, the memories you have of what you think is right or wrong, which might be right, it might be wrong, in relation to someone else's. If you just think about cultural difficulties and challenges of people marrying, if they're from different cultures, they've got totally different ideas of morality, what is allowed, what's not allowed. That's why it's very difficult for those people to find common ground. And the strongest person with the strongest personality will basically take over the creating the fence line of what their life should be like. What if they're wrong? So that's the problem with trying to be in control. Now, I was thinking about Adam when he was created in the garden. He was in the perfect environment, all by himself, having a function to fulfill based on what the Creator created him for. And he had a real relationship with the Creator, walking with him in the cool of the garden, where the voice was walking, and he was listening to the wisdom of the one who just created this beautiful place. And I think that wisdom contained his purpose, the reason for him being there, how he was to experience it, interact with it. I don't think in a sense of a rule-based framework. It's more about exploring. But we do have the one rule that was given: not to eat from the tree in the middle of the garden, the tree in the center. So there's, within any relationship, there's something precious that need to stay precious, that need to stay unknown, because eating of a fruit is to get the seed, and within the seed you'll see what's in there, and you can see what growth comes from that. So that sort of mysterious part of it, keep that relationship going. And where I'm going with this is, if you just think about the basic concept of faith, we think faith is gathering information of which we call truth, package them down, and then sitting on it, having it as your foundation. And then we find like-minded people that collect the same belief system, and we group together. And now we defend what we believe. Now, the problem with faith is anything that's a blessing is also a curse in itself if you lose balance. You thinking that you have it down packed make you passive. You're not actively growing, searching, seeking. Because remember, in the middle of the garden there's a tree where there's fruit. That's a mystery that you don't know. And knowing Yahweh and truly knowing the Creator, there will always be a mystery. There will always be things that you will never know. And the not knowing makes your walk with Him an active faith walk, trying to know Him better, not taking deliberately from your own will things because you will grab the wrong fruit. Remember, the fruit was from the tree of duality. It had fruit that contained evil. It had fruit that contained good. Not that I say that the Creator is evil. It is the knowledge of. And if they ate the fruit with the wrong knowledge, it will corrupt them. So the wrong knowledge is normally attractive because every desire, every dream that you have is an extension of you. It's magnifying a gap within you. It's magnifying something that make you happy. And those dreams and things are most of the time not aligned with what real life is about. So you have the corrupt fruit within yourself, within your desires. And then you build your faith and your hope upon the extension of your imperfections. And then you find people with similar imperfections and you group together with them. And then you defend your imperfections or your understanding of what it should be like. So the point I try to make is we will never know everything. We will always keep on searching. And having a controlled environment which you control is basically squeezing the life out of that area that you are controlling. And that is something that we need to realize. We do it in our society, we do it in our families. And that's actually not healthy. It's not what true life is about. True life is to accept anyone for who they are, allowing them to be with you, for them to express themselves in a natural way, without your criticism, without you trying to fix them, without you trying to change them. Even if you have a rule book that says it should be like this, you're basically destroying the life spark within those individuals. And this is a common thing that is within our society because of our upbringing, our Western culture, and all the things, all our insecurities that we have. And what we normally do is we try and find someone that is like yourself, that can agree with you. We call them like-minded people. But like-minded people is a blessing, but it's also a curse in itself, because it will stop you from searching. Because you'll always agree. If you bring up a topic, everyone will nod their head, yeah, that's right, that's true. There will never be a thought outside of what is agreed. And that will make that interaction boring, in a sense. Not that boring is bad, it means that you agree on things and you are one regarding things. But if it's all it is about, you're squeezing the life out of it. Because there is seed within the fruit, within the center of the garden, which is of the unknown, that needs to be explored. And we need to actively live life, expressing our faith, knowing that we don't know everything, and finding the truth together with the understanding that you might be wrong and I need to seek what is right. And I can actually definitely say you will never find 100% of the truth throughout your journey. So that's one aspect. The other thing I thought about was when Adam was alone in the garden, he saw the animals had a companion, and then he wanted a companion as well. Now that thought in itself was flawed, because Yahweh did not create him like that initially. Why? Because everything was within him right from the start. It was a gap within him that he realized, because he saw it in a lower form of life and he wanted that. But he had the real relationship with a higher form of life, which is Yahweh, that he didn't recognize. Now think about that. So our need to always want a companion, which is historically correct and accepted and approved by Yahweh, fundamentally is seated within a flaw within Adam. Not that I say that your wife or your husband is wrong. We live in a fallen state, yes. We need people around us. We need those relationships. But having those relationships might have the same issue that Adam had. He didn't focus on his relationship with Yahweh. He wanted a physical, like a lower form of relationship rather than a higher form of relationship. And his desire for that created the first step that led to the fall of man. Not that I say women are bad in any sense, because women exist within Adam, just like men exist within Adam. It's a collective before the separation took place. And they are equal, but opposites to complement. If you cut an apple in half, you don't have two halves that are 100% the same. They look the same, but they've got opposite functions. It's like your two hands. They look exactly the same, but they are mirror images of one another, and they fulfill different functions. But if you take one step back, and this is now to think about that perfect state of Adam, which he missed, is that our true relationship, we need to aspire to reconnect to that ultimate relationship with Yahweh that we need. And that needs to be restored, because that's the ultimate purpose of the work of Messiah, is to restore us back to that relationship. And when I ask Yeshua about marriage and relationships in heaven, he's not really driving it home that, yeah, you'll have, your wife will be there, and if you have multiple wives, oh yeah, that's a bit of a complexity, we have to work something out. It's going to be in another form. It's going to be in another setting. It's going to be similar to Adam in the garden. No, collectively, we will be the collective Adam, and we will have a relationship with the Creator. Yes, we will have probably relationships with one another, but not in the form of the intimate relationship that we know today. So that is the end goal. So there are people that are challenged with this situation of being alone, but there is an end goal. And you have the privilege and opportunity to work on your relationship that Adam missed, so you can still actively have a meaningful life, pursuing the greater relationship that you need. And if you find that, your life will be rich, and you will impact other people through your relationship with them. It's a matter of priority. And if you have this notion of which I discussed before, or understanding of not having a controlled relationship that you control based on your insecurities and fears, that you want to hold everything and control everything and make sure it's intact, because that in itself will destroy the very thing you try to protect. Yeah, so that's all I have today. A few thoughts, and I hope you have a blessed day. Shalom.